Hello everybody. Now we will discuss some important real functions and their graphs. So first of all, the real function means if the domain and the range of the function, are the subset of the real numbers. That is real valued function, you can say. So first we are going to talk about the constant function. Let C be a fixed real number. The function f from R to R means function f from R to R is said to be the constant function. That will be the constant function is there if fx is equal to c for every x belongs to the R and domain are the real number but the range remain the constant. Means this will be the, you can say, the singleton function. Singleton set. You can say only one element will be there, that is fixed is there, that is the constant is there. So if we draw the graph for this one only, suppose this is your x dash and y dash. Suppose your function is y is equal to 2. So the any one of the value you can put, because this can be written as इसको हम लिख सकते हैं 0 plus 2 plus 0 into x. So any value you can put, x is here only, any real number. So domain is all the real numbers is there, but your range will remain the fixed, will remain the 2 is there only. If you are going to draw the graph of this one, then it will be the parallel to this x-axis. So if the domain are all the real numbers, but range is fixed, that is constant, that the singleton set is, you can say, then that is known as a constant function is there. Similarly, if we talk about the zero function or the null function, any function will be the zero or the null function, you can say, if the range is zero, that is singleton set is there only, range is always remains the zero, then fx equal to 0 for every x belongs to any real number, you can say, then that is the null zero function, or you can say the null function. So with the domain and range only we can understand whether what type of the function is it. Agar domain all the real hai and range is the fixed hai, then it means we are talking about the constant function. Have a look. Yes, the next is the identity function is there. Identity function, there is a function f from R to R is said to be an identity function if and only if fx is equal to x and every x must belongs to the R. You can say the domain or the range of the function of any of the function are all the real numbers. अगर किसी भी function के domain or range all the real numbers हैं, means they are equal and they are all the real numbers, then you can say that is an identity function is there. Means if we draw the graph for this one, अगर हम इसके लिए graph draw करेंगे, suppose x o x dash and y o y dash is there only, means your function is like you can say the fx is equal to x or that is equal to y. So whatever the value of x you are going to put, same you will get here only. Same value you will get here only. So if you are going to draw the graph of this one, then graph will passes through the origin and this will be straight line. Then you can say the y is equal to x is there only. This is. So this is the identity function is there. Means with the help of this domain and range we can understand the function is the identity. If the domain and range all are the real numbers, you can say that is an identity function is there. Now the modulus or the absolute function is there. The absolute function or modular function is said to be if fx is equal to x is there, if x is greater than 0. If x is greater than 0, it will remain the x. But if it x equal to 0 is 0. If x is less than 0, then it will be minus x is there. And this modular function is generally denoted by this one. Then we are saying there is a function fx is equal to, this is your modulus function, you can say. And the important point is here, the domain of this modular function always all the real numbers, but your range will be 0 to infinity, because this is already, you know, that if you are saying the plus 2, modulus of plus 2 is the 2, but if you are taking the minus 2, so this is actually, by this condition, this is minus sign is according to rule, and this is the value of this x is less than 0, which is minus 2. So you have to put minus 2, so it's become a plus. So if you are taking the absolute of any negative value or the any positive value, always remain the positive is there only. So domain may be the any real number, any value you can put here only, but जो range आएगा ना वो आपका सभी positive ही आएगा, either the 0 to infinity. Infinity is not included, this is an open interval. अगर if we draw the graph for this one only, if we draw the graph this, अगर हम इसका ग्राफ ड्रॉ करते हैं लाइक, तो व्हाट विल गेट, दिस इज योर ग्राफ विल बी, this is y is equal to x is here only, or you can say this is y is equal to x in case here is the x is greater than equal to 0. This is x is greater than equal to 0 is there only, and this will be equal to y is equal to minus x. This one, if x is less than equal to 0 is here. So this is at the 0 is here only. So this is the graph for this one. So domain will be the real, but your range will be all the positive numbers are there only. See now in this one only the important point is here. See, in case of this is the line which is where the x is greater than equal to 0, that makes the suppose 45 degree angle from here only. But if the x is less than equal to 0, that is y is equal to minus x is there, then this line from the x-axis which makes this is the 135 degree angle is here. This is making the 45, then it will make 135 is there only. The most important point is here the domain and range. For any modulus function, किसी modulus function के लिए domain will be the any real number, but range हमारा 0 to infinity, all the positive values will come. It cannot be the negative. Because if you are taking the absolute of the negative value, even though, then you will get the positive value by using this one only. So domain and range will be this one. Have a look. Okay, now the greatest integer function, or you can say that is also known as a integral function, or you can say the step function is there. So if function f r2r is defined by fx is equal to, this the sign is there, that is the greatest integer function, or you can say the greatest integer less than or equal to the x itself. So the greatest integer function, the domain of the greatest integer functions are always all the real numbers. But if we talk about the range will be set of all integers. That may be the positive or maybe the negative is here, z plus or z minus. See how, means suppose you want to take the greatest value of this one is there, that will be equal to the 2. This is 2. If you are taking suppose minus 1.4, that it will be equal to the minus 2. If you are taking the greatest integer value of this one is there, that will be equal to the 2 is there. So what is the procedure is there? इसका procedure क्या है? Actually just see now, this is your number line. Your numbers are 1, like 2, 3. This is minus 1, minus 2. Suppose 2.1 you are taking. So 2.1 is here only. Your point is here. Or in place of this one, suppose I am taking 2.6. So this is your here. 2.6 is here. So you are supposed to come towards the integer here. From means you are coming this side only. So your integer, greatest integer will be equal to this 2. Like minus 1.4. So minus 1.4 it means you are here. यहाँ. तो आपको क्या back, you are supposed to come, the back is there. So this is your minus 2. If the value is there exact, plus 2 is there, integer of this one is the 2 is there. Minus 2 you will do, then again it is this. Suppose you want to take the 4.5 or 4.1 you are taking, that will be equal to the 5 is there. So always you are supposed to come back. Any one of the point is here, that all will come here only. If any is here, that you will come here. Likewise. Similarly here. Come back. पीछे आना है, this one. And if you draw the graph is there only, that is 1, 2, you are supposed to. Less than 1, 1 is equal. If 1 is there, you will be at 1, but it's less than, you will come to the 0. Likewise, you come to back. This one. Important point here है कि real number, all real numbers are the domain of the greater integer function, but range will be set of all integers. Set of all integers will be maybe the positive or the negatives there on. This is your greatest integer function, and this is represented by this one. But in case of the signum function, any function will be the signum function where the domain are all the real numbers, but range are fixed. Minus 1, 0 and 1. Always you are getting minus 1, 0 and 1. But the condition is there, if your x is greater than 0, then your range must be equal to 1. If x0, it should be 0. But if it is x is less than 0, it will be minus 1 is there only. That is the signum function. And this function is represented by this one. See now. Fx is equal to absolute value of x or here. यहाँ आप x का कोई वैल्यू रखिए, सपोज यू आर गोइंग टू पुट 2, तो 2 what absolute of 2 is 2, over 2 is 1. But if you are going to put suppose minus 2, if you are going to put this is minus 2, so minus 2 absolute over minus 2, so you will get plus 2. Absolute of the minus 2 is plus 2 and divided by minus 2, so you will get the minus 1. So if you have the value of x is less than 0, then your value will be minus 1. तो अगर कोई भी फंक्शन सिग्नम फंक्शन होता है जिसका रेंज ऑलवेज रिमेन्स -1, 0, 1 and domain is any real number, that is the signum function. If you want to draw the graph of this one, like the for the greatest integer we are drawing the graph, same is here, 1, 0 and minus 1 is there. So this is the graph is there. Lekin with the help of the domain and range, with the help of the domain and range, we can know the nature of what type of the function is it. Have a look. Okay, now the exponential function and the logarithm function is there, because the logarithm function is always the inverse of the exponential function होता है. तो y is equal to e raised to power x when a is greater than 0. It means here is only if x is going to increase, then y will also the increase is there. The graph will always lies above the x-axis there. Like x0 you are putting is here only. Suppose x equal to 0 you are putting, so that a raised to power 0 is equal to 1. So the graph will pass it from 0, 1 and above the x-axis there. Here is x is going to increase, y will increase here. And domain of this one, domain will be all the real numbers and range will be 0 to infinity is there in open interval. But here is the if y is equal to e raised to power x, but a is greater than equal to 0 but less than 1, then your graph will be in this way where the x is going to increase, then value of y will decrease here. So the graph will pass through here only, but it will be above the x-axis and below this one. Means it will up to down we will come here only. And domain and the range of this function, domain will be all the real numbers of this one and range will be 0 to infinity in open interval. But in case of the logarithm function is there, y is equal to log x, we say if a is greater than 0, a is greater than 0, so here is the x is greater than 0, a is greater than 0, a is not equal to 1 is here only. So here is also the if x is going to increase, then y will also the increase is here only. And your graph will passes through here, like from 1, 0 is there only. This up to down we will come here only here. Means always on the y lies on the y-axis side. And y is equal to this one. If your a is greater than 0 but less than 1, then here is the if x is going to increase, the value of y will decrease is here only. If the value x is going to increase, y will decrease. So the graph will be in this way. Here the domain will be 0 to infinity, but range will be all the real numbers there. So here will be, so then you can say, see look at here now, here the domain is real and range is 0 to this one. Here is the, look at here, यहाँ अगर हम compare करते हैं, तो in exponential function में domain are all the real numbers and range is 0 to infinity. Here is domain are 0 to infinity and range is all the real number. It means you can say the logarithm function जो है इसका inverse होता है. This is there. Have a look. Okay, now this is the very important function is there, reciprocal function. If function f r2 minus 0 to r is defined by fx equal to 1 over x. This is your reciprocal function is there. In the form of the reciprocal is given 1 over x. For every x belongs to, here is the value of x, all the real number except 0. Because what will happen, अगर मैं x की value यहाँ 0 रखता हूँ, तो what will get 0 over 1 over 0, so that you will get infinity, not defined is there. So x is equal to 0 you are putting, x equal to 0 you are putting, you are getting infinity. Means this is your domain, the value which you are going to put here, जो value हम put करते हैं वो domain हो गया. So it means 0 is associated with the infinity. So range of any of the function cannot be the infinity. It means important concept is here. जब भी reciprocal function हो, denominator cannot be equal to 0. This x cannot be equal to 0. This cannot be. Means the denominator, whatever is your denominator against, the denominator cannot be equal to 0. If denominator 0 होगा, you will get infinity. And range of any of the function cannot be the infinity. It means हम यहाँ पर x की जगह पर क्या नहीं रख सकते? All the real numbers हम रख सकते हैं, but except the 0. 0 you can't put. As you are going to put 0 is here only. जैसे ही आपने यहाँ 0 रखा, you will get the infinity. So the domain of this one will be all the real number except 0, and range will also be the all the real number except 0, because any value you are going to put here only, never you will get the 0 if it is a reciprocal function. तो reciprocal function में important concept है कि denominator should not be equal to 0. It should not be equal to 0. अगर ये 0 होता है, you will get infinity, और किसी भी नंबर की इमेज इन्फिनिटी नहीं हो सकती. दैट्स व्हाई इज देयर ओनली. सो द डोमेन एंड रेंज इज देयर. इट्स अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फंक्शन इज देयर. जनरली इस पर क्वेश्चन आता है. नाउ रेसिप्रोकल प्रिंसिपल स्क्वायर रूट फंक्शन क्या है? लेट्स y इक्वल टू रूट x इज देयर ओनली. सो डोमेन विल बी ऑल द रियल नंबर, नॉट ऑल द रियल नंबर. मीन नेगेटिव वैल्यू कैन नॉट बी देयर. इट विल बी 0 टू इन्फिनिटी इंक्लूडिंग 0. मींस द वैल्यू ऑफ दिस x ये ऑलवेज ग्रेटर देन इक्वल टू 0 होनी चाहिए. ऑलवेज ग्रेटर देन इक्वल टू 0. क्योंकि इफ द नेगेटिव वैल्यू इज कमिंग इनसाइड द रेडिकल साइन, यू कैन नॉट टेक द स्क्वायर रूट, यू विल गेट द कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबर. ठीक है, तो ये जो है ना, ये नेगेटिव नहीं हो सकता. इट शुड बी ग्रेटर देन और इक्वल टू 0. सो डोमेन विल बी द वैल्यू व्हिच यू आर गोइंग टू पुट, आइदर यू विल पुट द 0 और ग्रेटर देन 0. यू कैन नॉट पुट द नेगेटिव वैल्यूज हियर ओनली. तो डोमेन आपका क्या होगा? 0 टू इंफिनिटी. रेंज विल आल्सो बी द 0 होगा या 0 से ग्रेटर होगा, क्योंकि कैन नॉट बी द नेगेटिव. दिस कैन नॉट बी द ड्यू टू दिस वन इज देयर. तो अगर एनी प्रिंसिपल स्क्वायर रूट फंक्शन इज देयर, डोमेन इज ऑलवेज 0 टू इंक्लूडिंग 0 टू इंफिनिटी. इंफिनिटी कभी इंक्लूड नहीं होता. दैट इज ऑलवेज वी हैव टू राइट इट ओपन इंटरवल. Range will be this one is there. Have a look. Then one problem I will take. Okay. अब इस क्वेश्चन को देखिए. नाउ क्वेश्चन इज फाइंड द डोमेन इन द रेंज of this function fx is equal to 1 over x plus 3. How can you find out the domain and range? First of all, domain range के लिए अगर हम simply if we try to understand, मान लीजिए मेरा एक function fx is equal to x plus 1 है. तो if I am putting x equal to 1 is here, then f1 you will get what? 1 plus 1 2. If you are going to put x equal to 2, then f2 you are getting 3. Then x equal to minus 1 you are putting any one of the real number, then f minus 1 will be equal to 0. Then if you are going to put x equal to minus 2, then f minus 2 you will get equal to minus 1. यहाँ पर रखेंगे तो आपको क्या मिला? अगर हम इसकी बात करते हैं, अगर ये मेरा दिस इज योर सेट A है, दिस इज B, तो वी आर पुटिंग द वैल्यू 1 2 minus 1 minus 2. तो 1 का एसोसिएशन किससे है? 2 से. 2 with 3, then minus 1 0, minus 2 minus 1 is there. So this is a function is there. So what the value we are going to put here only, that is this is your domain. This is your domain. Means domain of this function, and these are the range of this function. तो जो वैल्यू हम पुट करते हैं वो that is your domain, and whatever you are getting that is your range is there. ये इस कॉन्सेप्ट को ध्यान रखिए. The value which you are going to put in this function will be your domain, और जो वैल्यू एसोसिएटेड करेगी that is your range is there only. See, वही यहाँ करना है. अब क्वेश्चन इज here only. Always keep in mind, जब भी रेसिप्रोकल फंक्शन हो, already I told you this denominator cannot be equal to 0. So here is the this x plus 3 cannot be equal to 0. x cannot this be, क्योंकि अगर आपने यहाँ पर ये डिनोमिनेटर 0 होता है, you will get it is infinity, or image of any one of the number cannot be the infinity. That is already we discussed. So x cannot be here only, not equal to 0. So what you will get? It will therefore you can say x is not equal to minus 3. तो यहाँ हम x को minus 3 रख ही नहीं सकते. It means that is it is clear that x is the all the real number except minus 3. This is your domain is there. X जो है all the real numbers except minus 3 is there. This is already. Now जब भी now you want to find out the range is there. तो जब भी आपको you want to find out the range, तो the value which you are going to put is domain. Whatever you will get will be your range. अब इसको always you have to assume that y is equal to, assume कर लीजिए, y is equal to fx is equal to that is 1 over x plus 3. ठीक है, ये क्या होगा? y is equal to 1 over x plus 3. Now just write down this function x in terms of y. X को in terms of y you have to write down is here only. Simply just write down x in terms of y. So you will write, just do the cross multiplication, y into x plus 3y is equal to 1. So here is yx is equal to 1 minus 3y. So x is equal to you will get 1 over y minus 3. That you are getting is here only. See. So just write down x in terms of y. देखिए, अगर मैं यहाँ x की वैल्यू I was putting that was domain and y you are getting was range. Now x we are writing in terms of y, so it means that this y actually is the range is here, but we change this function in terms of y. It means जो range था वो हम हमारा like domain की तरह काम करेगा. So what we can put here? See now, here is the important point is here. This y cannot be equal to 0. Y cannot be equal to 0 because this x is the the real number is there only. Real function is there. So this y cannot be 0. ये y 0 नहीं हो सकता. क्यों? This is y is going to become a 0. It become a infinity. Infinity minus this one. So x cannot be. So it means the value we cannot put here only as in that will be your range you can say. क्यों? देखिए हमने क्या किया है कि हमने इसको y को in terms of x किया. देखो जब हम x की वैल्यू we are putting, you are getting value y. जो वैल्यू हम रखते हैं that is your domain, you are getting is associated is your range. अब now you are going to write x in terms of y. तो हमने जो y हमारा look at here, जो y हमारा used to be like a range, now it's become a in the form of the domain. Now ball in your court कि अब जो हम यहाँ रखेंगे वही हमारा range होगा. But what we cannot put here only with these all these conditions, so y cannot put 0 because you will get infinity and x is the real. So that is y cannot be put 0 is here. So your domain, the range will be all the real number except 0. This is the range of this function. तो रेंज जो होगा इसका all the real number होगा except 0 is here and domain will be all the real number except -3. तो this is the very important point. Keep in mind. इसको ये जो रेंज है ना निकालने का that is the very very important. Have a look.